Okay, so this is basic factoring. So you factor each of the following completely. So we talked about having an x. We're given a general quadratic with an a, b, c coefficients. So the top of the x, we're going to take our a and our c and multiply them. And then b is going to be at the bottom. So we got to figure out what two numbers did we multiply and add together to get a, b, and c. So for number 1, a is 6, b is -5, and c is 1. So I can make my x. A times c is 6, and b is -5. So I've had to have multiplied -2 and -3 together. So I can show you this two different ways, by grouping and by using the box. With grouping, I write out my terms. And I know I split up -5 into -2 and -3. So I'm just going to rewrite my expression. And from here I can put it in the box. So each term goes in a separate compartment. My first and my last go on the top left and the bottom right, and then my other two terms go in the other compartments. And now I pick two boxes at a time. 6 and -2 have a 2 in common. X squared and x have an x in common. Going down, 6 and -3 have a 3 in common, and there's an x in common. Going down, -2 and 1 don't have a factor except for a 1. Because 1 is a factor of every number. And since this was a negative, the number I pull out is going to be a negative. So going across here, same thing. 1 and -3 have a 1 in common, and it's negative. Because the number closest to where I'm writing what I'm taking out is negative. So I keep that sign. So I'm going to make sure that the inside matches what I took outside. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared. So that works. -1 times 3x is -3x. That works. -1 times 2x is -2x. And -1 times -1 is +1. So that means the outside... Whoa. The outside is my factors. (3x minus 1, 2x minus 1). So if I was going to use the grouping, I'd pair off my 4 terms, and I look at what each set of parentheses has in common. So the first one, there's a 2x in common. And so 6 divided by 2 is 3. If I took 1x away from x squared, I'd have an x. And if I took this whole term out, I'd have a -1. The second one if the first coefficient is negative, I have to take a negative out. And so -3, I took a negative away, so now it's +3. A positive, I took a negative away, now it's negative. So I need the same thing in my parentheses. I have to have the same factor. If I don't have the same factor and I cannot make it the same factor, it's not factorable. So from here, I'm going to copy down the common term. 3x minus 1. And then 2x is going to come down into my next term. And I have a negative, but negative what? I have one thing here, so technically I can write a 1 there, and it won't change anything. So it means that -1 is coming down. So that's my factor. Those are my two factors. And so I do get the same thing if I group or if I use the box. Okay, so this one, if I look at my coefficients, there's something special about this one. So all these three numbers have a common factor of 3. So that means that 3 is my GCF. That's greatest common factor. So I need to take 3 out first. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I have my A, B, and C. So A times C is 9. And 10 is my B. So two numbers that multiply to 9 but add to 10. 9 and 1. So I split 10 into 9x and x. I need that 3. So again, I'm going to separate the first and the last terms. I need a plus. So between these two terms, I have a 3x in common. So 3 divided by 3 is just going to leave me a 1 and x squared. Take away 1, x, and I have x. 9 divided by 3 is just going to be 3. And then here, I can't take anything out, and these are the same factor. So that means my answer is going to be 3 times x plus 3, 3x plus 1. Technically, I have a 1 here.